This episode of the Local Hustlers podcast is brought to you by Audible. If you're listening to this podcast right now, then I'm going to assume that you would also enjoy listening to audiobooks. Whether you're interested in business, history, comedy, science fiction, or romance, Audible has thousands of titles for you to choose from. We want you to try out Audible for free, so if you head to our link, you'll get a 30-day free trial and a free book. So go to audibletrial.com/localhustlerspodcast to redeem your trial today. Again, that's Audible, AUDIBLE, trial.com/localhustlerspodcast.
You're listening to the Local Hustlers Podcast, East Valley Locals. Get connected with small businesses near you and dive deep into their stories, mindset, and motives. Entrepreneurs everywhere. Get ready to be inspired by business owners, entrepreneurs, and hustlers that you can relate to and learn from. And now, your hosts, Dallin Huso and Ridge Waldberg.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Local Hustlers Podcast. This week, we're super excited to be here with Robert Taylor with Taylormade Sleep Services and Consulting. How's it going?
I'm doing great, man. How you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Awesome.
Doing good.
Good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Why don't you take a couple of minutes, and you go by Taylor, correct?
I do,
awesome.
yes.
Okay, well, Taylor, why don't you take a couple of minutes and give us a quick background on your life before we jump into the business?
Okay. So everybody's probably going to want to know why I go by Taylor. So that's a good segue. So my first name. My dad died at a very young age. I believe I was 13. And my other brother was Charles Jr., and my other brother was Eric. And I wanted to actually change my name to Charles to honor him because my dad raised me for most of my life. But since my brother was a junior, it was just like, well, screw it. The only way I can honor him is by going by my last name. So that's why I get so animate when people say Robert. I'm like, no, it's Taylor. I go by Taylor. Like any good thing I do in my life represents not only his legacy, but it also represents everybody else in my family with that same last name. So that's why I go by my last name.
That's cool.
With that being said, let's jump into my life. Oh man, born and raised in Texas City, Texas. Lived around in Houston. Pretty much after my dad passed away, I raised myself from the age of 13 onward. Was paying bills, living with my best friend's grandma, finishing high school, things of that nature. Me and my mom have a weird relationship. That's a whole nother podcast. After that, went to graphic design school. My idea was to design websites, billboards, brochures, you name it, this and that.
Yeah.
Ran out of money to go to Texas, Houston Art Institute of Houston. I ran out of money. And I ended up having to move in with my mom. And I remember I was there for 2 days. And I looked around, I was like, hell no. Nope. I went and enlisted in the military. This was after 9/11, not too far after.
Okay.
So the war and everything like that was just about to ramp up. So I literally walked to the Navy guy. I was like, I want to enlist. And he's like, okay, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. And they gave me a rate, this and that. Okay, you'll leave in like 3 or 4 months. I literally went home, sat down again, looked around, got back. I didn't have a car either, so I had to take a cab every time. Went back to him. I want to leave now. Okay, you're going to go in undesignated. Fine. Okay, you'll leave next week. Great. Went back home. My mom had no clue. Hey, Mom, join the military. I'll leave next week. Just like that.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Next week they came, and they're white. Said, Mr. Taylor, you ready to go? Yeah, let's go. Left. You know how everyone has their family at the airport to say bye and this and that. I am none of that shit. It was just, here's your order, sir, go. I was like, okay, great. I did that, stationed in Florida for a bit. Was an engineer in the military on a John F. Kennedy, one of the no longer a steam carrier in the military. Did that for a little bit, couldn't find work after I got out. Had a girlfriend in Orlando, so I lived out there for a little bit. Things fell apart, came back to Texas, started building compressor engines offshore. And then I met a girlfriend that actually was an office manager at a sleep facility. Said they badly needed sleep techs. And I was at the moment going to go back to school for nursing because I was a nurse's aide when I was in high school. So I kind of knew the field and was kind of going to fall in love with it. And she convinced me, hey, why don't you do that? we'll start you off at $17 an hour, which back then was a lot of money.
That's a lot of money back then.
That's pretty good. I was making 15, breaking my back in the hot sun. You mean to tell me you're gonna pay me $17 an hour to sit on my ass and watch somebody sleep? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, how many shifts can I work? As many as you want. Psha. Done. So I went to the Texas School of Sleep Medicine for a month and a half. I had the job. I think I did an interview with the company before I even went to the school. Had a job right when I came out. Told the oil and gas company, yeah. And I started that same damn night. And funny thing is, I was actually going to try to do both jobs at the same time, but the oil and gas guys were mad at me about it. Like, oh, man. So I was like, all right, well, see ya. I'll go home. No big deal. And I literally left that day, and I was working that night. And for some reason, I've never looked back. And I've always been in this field ever since. That's 14 years later.
That is great. That is great. Couple stories, a couple things about your life story that impressed me. First, I love the honor and respect that you've given your dad by taking on his last name as the name you go by.
Right.
And you hinted towards his legacy and what that's meant to you. You mind sharing one or two things about his legacy that continue to impact you today and help you be a successful entrepreneur?
Yeah. It's really, my life story is, man, I'm telling you, you would need a whole nother show for it, because later on in life, the things I found out about him were not so good. And then everything that happened in my life made an awful lot of sense as far as why he was so hard. And you look back and it was like, it wasn't tough discipline, it was abuse from a lot of different people and things of that nature. But at the same time, too, it's all you knew, you know what I mean? So my dad had diabetes really, really, really bad. And he would get up, go do his job. He was an accountant. And he wanted to better himself as well, too. And he would go to night school as well. All the while he had 3 kids. It was me and my other 2 brothers. And I could just always remember him coming home, being tired, this and that. But he always did it. And to be a diabetic and barely be able to walk and control your functions, everything is magnified by 3. It's a lot difficult. It's more, sometimes you just can't control your body. So for him to constantly do that over and over and go to night school and come home and try to be the best dad he could. There's no denying I knew my dad loved me. It's just, it's interesting, I wish he was here so I could ask him some questions as far as, why the hell were you such an ass when I turned to a certain age? Like, it was just, went from love to, both my brothers didn't graduate high school and went off and lived with my mom. And when the second one left, he completely changed. So it went from, I love you, son, to, you better get your ass up, go to school, you better do this. But it was more of a generalship, general dictator type of deal in that household. And from that point, never really said he loved me, never really said he was proud. But it was always like, I shouldn't have to say that, because you should know it, number one. Number two, telling somebody you're proud of them all the time is kind of blowing smoke up their ass. Like, you should know you're doing good. You don't need other people's opinions to basically say that, which is why I think I'm so hard on myself, and I don't give a damn what people think. You know what I mean? Like, when people give you me compliments, oh man, you came a long way and this and that. I'm like, who cares? Like, really, like, isn't that what is expected of you, right? Like, some people, it's expected that you are successful. It's expected that you take it a step further, that you are that person in your family. It was expected of me to finish high school. It was expected of me to go to college. That was it. But no one expected me to go to the military. No one expected me to run my own company. No one expected all of that. I expected that out of myself. In any aspect of life or any job I always did, I always want to know what's my next step in it. I don't give a damn if it's working at McDonald's, Target, Payless, whatever. What am I going to do next? What's my next step? Thinking ahead, always forward thinking. And I think just work ethic is what he instilled in me more than anything. And I always want to thank him for that, and pay him that respect. No one's family is perfect, and mine definitely isn't.
Thank you, Taylor. No, I love that resilience, that toughness, that independence, that work ethic that he instilled in you, and you honor him with that. The other question I had to follow up is your time in the Navy. The Navy's known for helping to build character and those kinds of things. Any lessons learned from your time in the service that have continued to influence and really benefit you as an entrepreneur?
Life could always be harder. I was an honorary graduate, top of the line, first class recruit. I was promoted before even leaving boot camp, leading a division while you're in boot camp and things of that nature. And they sent me as my reward to the shittiest ship in the fleet. As your reward, you're going to the John F. Kennedy, one of the last 2 steam carriers that has not been able to even do a 6-month deployment due to how bad the ship was. Before I had got there, I want people to understand this too. When captains get fired off your ship, captains of the ship, that's a bad ship. That's like you're firing the CEO 3 times within a matter of 2 years. So I remember the chief told me before I was going, like, he's like, you're a graduate, you're great. It was an easy day for you. And this, I'm like, yeah, bring it on, man. It's all, I'm all, let's go. We're going to send you to John F. Kennedy. You're going to have to change the culture there. You're going to, I'm like, I'm a petty officer. I'm not a chief or an admiral or this and that. I'm like, what are you talking about? This and that. We would work 20-hour days nonstop. Like, couldn't eat, couldn't this and that. You were just going. If when we were out at sea, it was 6 on, 6 off. 6 hours down there in the main space. In the main spaces were about 180 degrees, and you wear steamers as well. So you're really freaking hot. That's why it's 6 hours on, 6 hours off to cool off. You do that every day, all day for 6 to 7 months straight while you're in deployment, because our main space controlled the propeller that controlled thrust. On an aircraft carrier, you have 4. So you have the 2 on the side that control left and right. You have the 2 in the middle that control thrust. If your main space goes off and you lose thrust, planes can't land and planes can't take off. Right? So people are dying if we don't do our job. Also, the first thing they told me when I got there was it was 6 or 7 levels down, and each one had a hatch. And they were like, if we hit something and there's a hole and water comes in, your job is to run all the way up, latch, close all the hatches, and lock them down. I'm like, and wait, and come back down? And they're like, yes. I was like, it's our job to make sure that the people up top have no idea this is happening. Right? So we could take on water, as much water as possible, without sinking. We die. That's our job. Like, they told me that, like, within the first couple of days. It's our duty to protect everyone upstairs. You will die down here. If, water leaks and this and that, you have to do anything and everything possible to keep that water contained to this level. Right? So we all die. Then I'm like, okay, second day on the job. All right. And we did drills almost every week. Practicing in battle stations is what it's called. And it's just, as you're doing these drills, you're just like, damn, I really am going to die if this crap happens. Because they're like, all right, good job, go back down. I'm like, what? No, hey, I sealed it. Let me go with everybody else. But that's just the way it was. I already had a lot of work ethic before going to the military. It was already in me. Yeah. I think it just magnified it by 300, to be quite honest. Because if there's a job that needs to get done, I'm going to get it done. I can easily block out sleep. I can easily block out fatigue. It's just your decision making. It comes into question. Right. But other than that, no. We would literally sleep down there get a power nap for like 10, 15 minutes. Wake up, continue to go. So when you go from that aspect to the real world, I'm like, no one's going to ask me to do all that. You know what I mean? And if they do, good luck. You better pay me a lot of money. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think just it makes you, I guess, depending on where you go and what rate you choose, it makes you tougher, it makes you harder, makes you smarter, and it makes you also realize where your place is. Like, it teaches you a little bit to be selfless, which is kind of how I feel like I run my company, to where it's never really about me. To me, it's always about the people that work with me, and I stress with me, not for me. We work together. I can't do, like, this person's life will be lost if this person didn't do his job, this person, and I didn't. So we all have to work together to make sure that we protect this person. If I fail, he dies. This person fails because they're asleep, he dies. That person fails because they're lazy, he dies. So everyone has to work together from top to bottom. The chief down to the fresh recruit that just came in. All have to work together and do their job, and all have to respect each other in order to accomplish the mission and accomplish the goal. And I think I live that every day.
Well, thank you for your service.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure,
Appreciate it. It's always fun to share those stories.
Yeah. And no, I think, like you mentioned, like a lot of what you've been through has really shaped who you are and probably shaped how you do business and how you are as an entrepreneur. So super excited to kind of dive into that now and kind of talk about the business. And so you mentioned that you got a job working kind of in the sleep industry, I guess. Do you want to talk a bit about, what that experience was like and how you went from working for a company to deciding that you want to start your own thing?
Sure, yeah. That's a lot. You're going to have a lot of follow-ups. So do you ask me about my life and then he talks about business? It's a good cop, bad cop thing? That's pretty cool. I love it. Yeah. Okay. So, coming from where you work solely with your hands, and the compressors and engines that I was building in the oil industry, you walk inside of. They're that big. Pistons are about this big, things of that nature. So you manhandle everything, right? So it was a huge transition to being gentle and cleaning and stuff like that. My first patient was a kid, 13 years old. I tortured that little dude so bad. I was so aggressive, and unintentionally, because but I was, you have to grab them gently and tilt their head. No, I was just like, it was horrible. It was a horrible night. The reason I think I fell in love with this field was because when I went to the school, it was like, there's so many aspects of your life that stem from good quality sleep, right? So if you really think about it, if you don't sleep proper, how do you think your day is going to go, right? It's off. Yeah. Everything about your day, your mood, your energy, your drive, everything's off, right? So it was, that just amazed me that one aspect of your life can control 300, which is kind of my saying, to be quite honest. And then when you learn as to what qualifies as good quality sleep, because I was of the impression too, oh yeah, I sleep 7 or 8 hours. Who the freak cares? How's the quality of it? Like the quantity is insufficient when it comes to the quality. You can sleep 12 hours, but if the quality of it is absolutely crappy, you're still going to feel like you slept 30 minutes. And so learning that and learning how that actually applies, I fell in love with it. I really, really did. And seeing patients that come in that actually have apnea. Do you know what apnea is?
Yeah, but do you want to kind of explain
Sure,
it for our listeners?
Yeah. Sorry, I ruined that one. So a person that has apnea, most people think there's just only one type. It's actually several. Okay. In order for it to be qualified as an apnea, it has to last 10 seconds, with minimum of 10 seconds, meaning you're not breathing for 10 seconds, right? I've seen people not breathe for a minute and a half and not even know it. Have no clue. They sleep right through it, right? So if that happens and people don't even know that they have it, then that to me is like everyone should be checked. Everyone should at least be evaluated and things of that nature. Because if you have it and it's that severe, two things are going to happen to you: heart attack or stroke. Period. Like, it's inevitable. It always happens. And it's always generally when someone has a heart attack or stroke, that's when they discover they have it. Because a nurse walks by the room and says, oh, man, you're not breathing. And they run and put an AutoPAP on it. So, and I guess we'll get into why I started my company too, because that has a lot to it. And I have a story that motivated me to do so. I could tell that later, but that's what's going on. You know what I mean? And to have that happen to you, somebody just choking the shit out of you while I could say shit, right?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, choking the hell out of you in your sleep for that long, for minutes on end. So, minute and a half, you don't breathe. Take 3 breaths. Minute and a half, again, don't breathe. 3 breaths. Minute and a half, constantly. Some people do this It's called the AHI, the average event index, apnea hypopnea index, which means how many events on average you have a night. Severe is 24 events an hour, right? Some people have it 63 and 70, which basically means they have 600 apneas every night that they sleep.
Wow.
And have no clue that that's what's going on. So that is something that really motivated me to where I can see this person not breathing for a minute and a half. And I have the wherewithal and the knowledge and the skill to change that by treating them with CPAP, BiPAP, whatever. And then seeing the results of that to where the first night they came, they struggled. It was horrible. They had apnea. They have high blood pressure, daytime fatigue, moody disorder, this and that. Marriage is ending. They come back. We treat them. The next morning, that very morning, they wake up feeling like a new person. Like, holy hell, I've never slept that good in my life. Blah, 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 blah. Wow, I feel great. This and that. Like, that's what good sleep feels like. And to me, that is always what gets you going, get your blood pumping. Mm-hmm. When you can literally change someone's life overnight. There's no greater feeling like that in the world. And I live for that moment every day.
No, cool. That's good. So I kind of heard you say, the question is, you don't necessarily want to find out you have sleep apnea mm-hmm. after you've had a heart attack or stroke. And most people don't discover it until some event has happened. I think I heard you say that everyone should get tested.
Yep.
So, the question that I had that I think got answered is, how do I know if I have it?
Ooh, right? Good segue. Good man. Well, okay. So that's where the evaluation comes into play. Mm-hmm. What are you going through on a daily basis? Do you snore? Are you tired sometimes during the day? Do you have high blood pressure? Do you feel lethargic some days? Do you suffer from depression? Do you feel unmotivated on some days? And everybody will say, and everybody's guilty of this, right? Because not everybody's going to be the same. There are some cases where a person will have all the comorbid factors in the world: high blood pressure, diabetes, low T, all that good stuff. And there's some cases, like me, you're fine, you're normal, you work out all the time, you don't necessarily feel tired, headaches, things of that nature, but it's been told to you that you snore. One thing, you snore. Snoring isn't normal, right? Snoring is a symptom. Snoring is an indication that your muscle palate is weak, okay? So the way you have obstructive sleep apnea is that your muscle palate, the muscle that holds your tongue in place, closes off your airway. So if it's snoring, it wiggles and it shakes, right? And that could be in the lighter stages of sleep. So then I ask, is it pitchy? Meaning, does it go up and down, or is it just consistent? And most people don't even know that. It's generally the wife that basically racks them up. Oh God, yeah. He's just, sometimes it's like light, and then next thing you know, I'm like, you have apnea. And they're like, really? I'm like, yes. And the reason I know you have apnea is because if those snores gradually get lower, right, your airway is closing. Okay? And then that snore comes loud, you're gasping for air. Very simple. So I always do with these evaluations we go down everything. Look, not everybody's going to have all the signs and symptoms, but it's asking the right question and asking the simple question. How are you sleeping? How do you feel your sleep is? And if you can honestly sit there and say, you sleep great, Godspeed, have a good one. But if you honestly sit there and wonder, could my sleep quality be better? Then you need to be tested and checked. My biggest issue, and again, why I started my company, is the process and getting that done is the problem. Because generally speaking, back in the day, when I first got in the field, the process would be, say you snored, right? Oh man, I snore. You can't just wake up and be like, I need to have a sleep study done, like a cup of coffee, and order it like a Happy Meal. No. I say this all the time. Your health is honestly one of the only things in life that you need to ask permission for. As far as if you want to do something with your health, as far as a medication or this and that, who do you have to go to? A doctor, right? Is the doctor approved? Is this, is that? If you wanted to have a sleep study done, you have to go to a doctor, who then, because he's not all that educated in it, and this isn't any offense to doctors, they cover a broad range of things. Right. Not everyone knows about sleep. So they send you to a specialist. So that's another doctor visit, right? And then you're going to tell that doctor the same thing that you just told that doctor to get a referral to go to a sleep lab. And then that's going to take a few weeks, and then you get in and right, and then you have to go back and see the specialist for those results. Okay, and if you're positive, you know what happens? You got to go back to that lab for a second night for treatment, and then you go back to the specialist for those results, and then you get on treatment. That's a 3 to 4 month process, and even with insurance, you're paying $3,500 to $4,000. You just really don't realize it, because if your deductible is high, you're paying $700 to $800 a pop for a study, and then treatment options, depending on your insurance, $1,500 to $2,000. Oh, don't forget to throw on those 2 doctor visits, or 3, because the primary and then the specialist. So you look at that process, and then you can honestly understand why there are millions of doctors, millions of sleep labs, yet 26 to 30 million people every year go undiagnosed. Why is that? Where's the disconnect? Because the process in doing it is so flawed. If you have insurance, you have to pay money. If you have good insurance, you have to pay money. And nobody these days wants to go through this, and this just to get here, right? It's inconvenient, and it's way too time consuming, and nobody wants to go be hooked up to 300 wires. Trust me, I know, because I had to convince everybody every time they came to the lab. I was the guy hooking them up. So I understand how uncomfortable it actually is. So what if you could wake up and be like, you know what? I want to check my levels today. I think my sleep quality could be better. And you ordered it basically like a Happy Meal. What if that was possible? Do you think more people would actually be tested? The answer to that is yes. And that's pretty much what we do. That's why I started my company. Instead of you going to a doctor, I employ the specialist. I employ the board certified specialist. I'm registered in sleep and been registered in sleep for 14 to 15 years and have been doing their work for them. So if anybody can explain a lot of stuff, I can. However, I am supervised, managed by physicians. Everything signed, sealed, delivered, and reviewed by the doctor I have, that's my medical director, is a pulmonologist, but he's also certified in sleep and has been in sleep, and he's a director over several different labs. So you're getting 7 or 8 years of experience from my company to help you. So yeah, you wake up, man, your wife says you snore. All right, well, I guess I need to call Taylormade. You go to taylormadesleep.com, book your appointment right then and there. You book your appointment. You choose your day, you choose the time you want to be contacted, this and that. We'll give you a call. We do your evaluation, which we offer for free. Information, I feel, is always free. These evaluations are like doctor visits. Technically, I could charge $200 for it. I choose not to, because I think getting the message out there and educating you is so much more important than money, right? So we'll spend 30 minutes with you. Tell me everything. Don't hold back. Tell me what's going on. And gradually, as I'm talking to you, I can understand, this is a sign, this is a sign, this is why this and this is connected. And you may not even know that. So after the evaluation, I basically tell you, okay, this is why I think you need to have a sleep study. It's because you're snoring. Obviously, I told you, snoring is a symptom that you have a muscle palate issue. It's weak, okay? You occasionally have headaches upon awakening and things of that nature. That's a good indication of oxygen deprivation. How much of it, we're not sure. High blood pressure. You know, during the stresses of life, I get it, your blood pressure is high. But when you sleep, your blood pressure is supposed to regulate. If you aren't getting good quality sleep, your blood pressure can never regulate. It's always high, hence why you're on medication. I can go down the list of everything you basically told me. If you open up and let you know, hey, these are all linked to this one thing right here. So let's check this out. Let's just mark this off, okay? And if you're negative for it, all right, then yeah, maybe you have some other real deal issues going on with you. And then I would recommend, you might want to see your primary care. Okay, now see your primary care. Now that you have data, now that you have reports and things of that nature, that basically say, hey, you're fine. This isn't it. Okay, we've already crossed this off. Now what is it? Okay, now let them medicate you and do what you want to do. But it's a lot easier to just wake up and say, I want to have a sleep study. Great, let's get you a sleep study. Done. Just like that, after the evaluation, get your address, take payment, ship it to you that day. It'll get to you in one day. Or if you're in Texas, 2 days. Generally, we cover for the expedited shipping to and from. So it'll get to you within 1 day or 2 days. You sleep with it for a night, send it back, get the results. I'll call you, consult you, evaluate you again, let you know exactly what's going on. If I was right, I wouldn't like to say I'm right, but, hey, 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, you have apnea, things of that nature. Okay, now, here's what we do different and what I take great pride in. Most people, or most companies at that point, machine, CPAP, AutoPAP. What if that is not good enough for you? What if you say, I suffer from severe claustrophobia, and that's not going to work? Then what do? They don't do a damn thing. It's like, oh, we'll get used to it in here. We'll try different masks, things of that nature. What we do as well, your diagnosis determines your treatment. So if it's mild to moderate, I have a whole bunch of connections out here to where, MRDs, Vivo's MRD, Snorlays, Excite OSA, you name it, okay? All those you qualify for. Done deal. No problem. We will provide you the prescription for whichever one, and then we send it to the vendor to already have a process. You don't have to do a doggone thing. You just sit at home and tell me what you want to do. Great, and it all gets delivered to your house, and this and that, and then we follow up to make sure that you're doing okay. The beautiful thing about my company, if that medical treatment does not work, you still qualify for all the other ones that we can write a prescription for you because you qualify for it. No problem. We leave no stone unturned, and I'm still constantly trying to network with other companies that have different other treatment options for different types and different severity of apnea. I don't see any other company honestly doing that, and I think that is what sets me apart. And I'm a cash pay organization, so I want everybody to understand you get a free evaluation, which is a doctor visit, expedited shipping to and from, interp, diagnosis, recommendation, and a prescription for treatment for all but $350.
Wow.
Period. That's it.
It's almost less than your deductible you pay with your insurance.
Thank you very much. It's almost less than what people pay for nails.
Yeah.
Good Lord. It's amazing.
Do you spend more time cleaning your pool than you spend swimming in it? Then call Flamingo Pools today. Flamingo Pools is your go-to swimming pool maintenance and repair company in the East Valley. Whether it's weekly maintenance, repairs, green to cleans, or one-time cleanings, Flamingo Pools will take care of you. Honest, reliable, and innovative. Just a few of the many good things Flamingo Pools customers have to say about them. Ask them about their mineral treatment, which will keep your chemical levels down, allowing you to have a healthier bathing experience. At Flamingo Pools, they know that your pool was made to be enjoyed, so let them handle the rest. Check them out at azflamingopools.com or give them a call at 480-422-6013. Mention this podcast and you'll get your first month of maintenance completely free. That's azflamingopools.com and 480-422-6013.
So did I hear you right that all the sleep study is done from the comfort of your own home? You're not going into a lab and having that uncomfortable experience of sleeping in a cold lab all night?
That's correct.
Are there any limitations to that? You worked in a lab before, so you've seen both the benefits and challenges of coming to a lab and trying to sleep versus the benefits and challenges of sleeping from home. Any challenges that you see from doing it in this model that you've developed and how you've kind of overcome those challenges?
I think the challenge of sleeping in the lab is difficult mainly because, one, you're not familiar with the bed. If you're like me, even when I go to a hotel, I can't sleep that first night.
Yeah, it's a different sort of experience.
Yeah, exactly. So you tie that into, I'm watching you with the camera and you're hooked up to 300 different wires from head to toe and we're asking you to sleep. Is that going to be adequate? Are we really going to get a good indication of whether you have apnea or not? There were some nights when I worked there to where I was like, this patient has mild apnea. I know damn well it's worse than that. It's just they couldn't get to a deeper level of sleep to where we can actually see everything, right? Whereas if you're in the comfort of your own home, now sure, you don't have all the bells and whistles. But I will say this, and when doing an evaluation, when I'm talking to patients, if they have COPD, on oxygen, have night terrors, sleepwalk, things of that nature, then I recommend them, look, you need more extensive treatment on that, or you're going to need a more extensive diagnosis. I think you should go to a sleep lab to where they can watch you because it's recording you do it, so they could show all that stuff to your physician and things of that nature if needed to help you. Like, what time did you do it? What this? What that? I can't tell all that from a home study. Whereas if you're in a controlled setting, we can't, right? So there are still needs for in-lab. I'm not against in-lab. I ran them for 5 or 6 years. So I understand, like, Medicare, Medicaid, COPD patients, certain patients, yeah, you need to go there. But for the certain patients like you, or like me, or the other 26 million that don't want to get treated every year or tested because you don't want to go to a doctor, or you don't have insurance, or you have a high deductible, or you just don't have enough time, or let's be real, you're just an ass and just don't want to do it. There's my company. Again, evaluate, diagnose, and treat you, all from where you're sitting. I basically just gave you an evaluation already, and you didn't even know it. See? Look how good I am. I ain't get started on you yet. Before I'm telling you.
I love it. So that first initial free evaluation, is that just kind of asking questions kind of to gauge where they're at?
Yeah. Pretty much, why do you feel you need to have a sleep study? I asked them that at the end of the meeting, basically, because I want you to know why you feel you need to have it. Like, you tell me the reasons, right? Yeah. We try to make it as personal as possible, as far as, like, I want to build that relationship. So I do start off with just the generic questions, do you snore, what is apnea, blah, 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 this and that, yada, yada, yada. And it's so funny that the ones that basically say they don't have an issue, as you're going down this list, most of the crap they're checking off. Like, yeah, I have this, yeah. I'm like, okay. And even at the end of, they still don't think they need to have one. Yeah. And so you have to educate them and things of that nature. So it's kind of fun, but yeah, the evaluation just goes over pretty much how do you feel your sleep is affecting your life. Like, I feel like I could sleep better. Sometimes at work, I'm foggy with my memory, things of that nature. I need to drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee. I'm on my 3rd or 4th energy drink. Around this time of day, I'm just really exhausted. The problem I think we find as well is with females, especially, they are so adaptable at finding a new normal. To where, people in general find a new normal. If you're tired, that's the American way, right? Like, we're taught to go, go. Block it out. You're tired. So the last thing someone thinks of is, how are they sleeping? They contribute to everything else. Oh, it's my husband, it's a pain in the ass. Or it's my son, God, I hate that kid. Or it's my job. Or it's this. Versus literally taking a step back and asking, is the quality of my sleep even good? And is the lack of quality of that sleep impacting everything else I just complained about? So it's the opposite of what everyone's saying, right? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. To where your sleep quality causes you to be more stressed at work because you're underperforming. Mm-hmm. Your sleep quality causes you to be moody with your husband because you're irritated all the time because you're always tired. Your sleep quality makes her snap at you for the damnedest thing because you're just irritable. It leads to depression. It leads to ruining marriages. Like, it happens. So instead of blaming it on everything else, blame everything else on this one thing. And that's what I'm trying to get everybody to realize. This one thing over here, this one little thing over here is affecting 300 other things in your life. And you have no idea. So we made it more retail. Instead of it being a medical procedure that takes 3 or 4 months, 48 hours, generally speaking, you'll have your results. Just like that. Have it your way. Burger King, McDonald's, any other analogy I can think of, you can have it. If you want to have one done, wake up, order it. You can do that now. It's fine. We're backed by board certified physicians. We make it easy. We are the specialists. You're going to go to your doctor and they're going to send you to a specialist anyway. Okay? Whoop-de-doo. Come to us directly. We have you covered. Not only will we get you diagnosed, but we're going to work our asses off to find the perfect treatment for you. If you have an issue with this, no problem. We'll coach you. You don't like this therapy, no problem. You qualify for this one. I know this doctor to send you here. The only time I send patients to doctors is because I have the connection to where, hey, doc, this patient tried this and this and this, really needs help with this. I just need you to give her a free consultation to educate her on that and this and that. No problem. I send them the paperwork. They basically call that patient. But you guys have nothing to do. Everything is basically taken care of. Yep. We're the concierge service for all that. So let us basically streamline it and help people from start to finish. That's what we want to do. That's why I started this company, because I can do 300 patients every month and not put a dent in 26 million. So even if somebody else takes my idea and makes it better, whoop-de-doo, great. there's still 26 million people that need our help.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do it by myself, so.
So a couple questions with that, Taylor.
Oh, come on.
So earlier you mentioned that you can do overnight shipping, you get it that next day, and then you mentioned if somebody lived in Texas, it might take 2 days. So, so are your clients nationwide, all 50 states?
Yes.
Okay, so no matter where you live, people can reach out to Taylormade and get this. And you also mentioned that you can do 300 patients and not even get a drop in the ocean, right? With that 26 million. Do you have plans to scale your business and take it? Kind of talk to us a little bit about what you've thought of so far and where you're at in that process of scaling.
Excellent. I love that. Man, you are good. You are really good at this. So I always say that my clinic is an online sleep clinic. And so when you say that to people, it really wow, online sleep clinic. Yeah, that basically means I'm not limited to a 50-mile radius. As long as you have internet and a phone and an address, I can help you, period. Doesn't matter if you're in Utah, New York, Miami, doesn't matter. Now, the shipping may take max 3 days to get there, but it'll get there, it'll get back, and I can still have you on a treatment option within a week and a half, easily. My idea is to have a hub and a location in every state. May need to have 2 in every state to handle a geographic area. That way, instead of it being 2 days, I can get it there overnight, easily, everywhere. And I want it to be like, I had this vision in my head too. You know how you walk in a bank and you have all these cubicles where you can talk to. I kind of have it in my head to where eventually I'm going to have a gigantic center. I'm going to put a building somewhere, right? To where anybody that has an issue, you just walk in. You'll have a greeter. Hi, how are you? This and that, yada, yada, yada. They'll take you to a registered technologist who's basically waiting at their desk to help you, evaluate you, and do this. You walk in, we'll evaluate you, hand you your unit, you bring it back the next day. Just like that. Like, I have that vision, and that's eventually where I want it to go, and that's what drives me.
Yeah.
I said I would tell you that story. Do I have time to tell? Okay. Yeah. There was a truck driver. This is what really inspired me to want to do this. There was a truck driver, hard-working man, this and that. Has been on blood pressure pills and this and that for God knows how long. Whatever. Had the same doc for 20 years. Would always have issues with his blood pressure, with his weight, with this and this and this and this and this. 20 years. I get him after the fact. He had a stroke. He stroked out due to the fact that the medications, his body eventually got used to him. Eventually, you stroke out. And I was like, wow, well, how did you end up getting here? It's like, again, the nurse walked by and said I had apnea, this and that, things of that nature. Got back to his doctor. His doctor said, yeah, you probably should have a sleep study done. Go figure. So he has it done. He has severe apnea. Has had it for his entire life. Fixed him, treated him. He's good to go. He's solid. The problem now is, because you have a stroke, you can no longer drive trucks. This is his career. This is what he did to provide for his family. He can no longer do it. He has no idea what to do. All that could have been avoided. Could have. You've had this same guy for 20 years. 20 years. And not once your sleep quality, how you slept, snoring, none of that came up. I have a hard time believing that. I really, really do. I know not every doc's like that, but this happened to this guy, and this happens to a lot of people to where we're too late, right? We're on the side of preventative medicine, right? Well, what's there to prevent if you've already had a heart attack or a stroke? Yeah. The damage has been done. And in his case, I was like, did you know you ever had an issue or things of that nature with sleep? He's like, well, I'm always tired and this and that and blah, 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 blah. I just thought that was normal.
Just life, yeah.
Exactly. It's like, and I was like, did you ever mention that to your doc? I was like, yeah, all the time. I was like, this is why I need to start this company. And I did. I sold everything I owned. I sold my house in Texas. I've only been out here for 8 months. Sold my house in Texas. I sold my truck. I sold everything, literally everything from top to bottom that I could to start this company.
Wow.
I want to be a guy that people root for. Not in the sense that I want pity, but I want people to honestly look at me as maybe an inspiration to where you can continue to work for other people and go with this system that honestly, yeah, it's helping a few, But what about everyone else that needs it, right? So you can either continue to walk that same path, or you could take a leap of faith, gamble on yourself, and go all in on it. And I did that. I've given up everything I have for this dream of literally just helping people. Selfless, right? Kind of what you're taught in the military.
And two follow-up questions: that how's it going?
Mm-hmm.
And how's the business been impacted by COVID? Is it because more people are home, not comfortable going to doctors, not comfortable going to a sleep lab? Has it positively impacted business?
I think so. I was already on the telehealth train before COVID even hit.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is once COVID hit, all the labs started doing the home study thing as well. So it got really competitive to where I even had to wait on my units to come in because the order was on back order for everyone else. So everyone kind of had an idea. If you're not going to come in, fine, we'll just test you for 2 nights. They'll do it for 2 nights and then put you on auto. Which is why I was like, okay, that's when I was like, I need to change how I'm doing things a little bit. It's not fair to the patient to just put them on an auto and that's it, which is why I'm like, I needed to add more to the menu. We need to do real evaluations, real notes, like make it feel more like a real doctor visit. You can go elsewhere and get a home study done cheaper, $189. I looked it up, but then you look at the fine print. Taxes, another $50, $60. Expedited delivery, $200. If you want an interp on it from a physician, $200. So you're really spending $800. But it starts off at $189 though, right? So I'm just a straightforward type person. And also too, when you go to a lab, going through your insurance, they'll try to bill your insurance like $2,500. So you're still paying $500, $600 for home studies, things of that nature. So companies have evolved. And still getting good profit off home studies. Me, I'm just like, I run a skeleton crew, right? So when the company gets big enough for a need to add more people, I'll do that. But until then, bare minimum as far as like what I have, as far as resources and how many employees I need to have, I don't need that many, which is why the price can be where it is, and I want to always stay true to that. When you get involved with insurance companies and things of that nature, sometimes that skewers that to where it's like, okay, yeah, we'll give you this amount of money for it, yeah, but you're only going to cover this percent, and this patient still has to pay this amount of money. It kind of screws the patient over. Like, my whole mindset is I built this company to help people, everyone, insured, non-insured, cash, you name it, anybody that wants it done. I want them to be able to get it done. Business has been good. It could be better. Always could be better. Again, I would like to. We're doing about close to 20-25 a month. That is not bad. That is not great either. When according to how many people need help.
Yeah.
So it's all about getting the word out there and educating people on the fact that there's a better way. Right? There's a better way. It's that simple. Even if you just have questions, you're not going to be charged for it. So what's the harm in scheduling an evaluation, right? Like it's not going to hurt you,
right,
or anything, you know. And then after your evaluation, if I educate you enough to where you feel, yeah, maybe I should just check, you know, it's worth it. Then that's when the financial aspect comes into play. But if not, and you just, all right, thanks for your time, this and that, no harm, no foul. But it's more getting more eyes on the product, educating more people, and hell, I don't care if you get tested by me, just get tested, man. Like, get checked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're gradually going to be getting there. Working more with health, community healthcare organizations, getting in networks and things of that nature. It's gradually going to get it there. Eventually, they will start seeking me out though, because they'll realize, one, the product's great, and two, it's really cheap. Right? So even if you go through insurance, and insurance companies like, damn, we're paying like $2,500-$3,000 per patient for sleep studies and services and stuff like that for 2 nights, and then all this other stuff. This guy gets it done in 2 days, and it's only $350. Maybe we should go ahead and try to network with him and things of that nature. Corporate wellness is starting to take off too. So there's a lot of moving parts right now. It's just one. People need to know about it. People need to hear about it, and people need to know why it needs to be done. And you get that message out there, the rest basically takes care of itself. The quality of my work will always be that good quality. The more quantity we get, fine. Then I'll have to hire more people that share my vision and have good quality. You want to surround yourself with the people that have your best interests in mind and want to help people, which is why I prefer to always hire registered technologists that do good work. So when I interview them, I actually ask them like questions that are not even related to work. Like when you go into work, right, and you work with somebody that just sleeps on the job, how does that make you feel? Like, and they say, it's not my patient, this and that. I'm not interested. That's not, to my opinion, the response I want to hear.
Yeah.
To where when I would go to work and somebody would sleep on a job, it would piss me off. Like, dude, we're supposed to watch them sleep.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to watch you sleep and them sleep. You know what I mean? And it's like it's our responsibility to make sure. There was a kid that died in the sleep lab due to that, and the person that actually tried to help got suspended. She was a friend of mine, and so it was at Texas Children's in Texas. But yeah, a kid actually died due to negligence. So you gotta stay on your P's and Q's. So if you don't care that your coworker isn't doing his job or this and that, you're not part of my team, because everybody works together.
Yeah.
You should care. You should get them to do their job. You know what I mean? I need to depend on everybody to do their job in order for this vision to actually work.
Yeah. Taylor, I love just hearing your passion. You can tell that you really love what you do, and you're in it for the right reasons. And I love hearing about your dreams and your goals for the future. They're obviously, you have big dreams, and you really want to push this. And that's something that, not everyone is always supportive of having big dreams, whether that's just because they don't want you to dream big, or they don't want you to be disappointed if you don't reach those dreams. Is that something you were born with, just the ability to dream big and basically shoot for the stars, or how have you kind of developed that mindset?
Not caring what people think. Growing up, it wasn't until I was the age of 30 to where I don't know. Honestly, I would have to credit it to loving my body, loving myself. And I know that sounds weird. That's a weird answer. But we all have imperfections, honest, and this and that. With me, I need braces. I understand, I may not be the Denzel, but it's all good, okay? But the minute you wake up and you're like, you know what? Screw what people think. I look good. I'm a sexy sucker, man. Right? The minute you hit that point to where then you love yourself, but two, you're giving yourself confidence, right? No one can take that away from you but yourself. No one can make you feel inferior but yourself. No one can make you feel like a failure but yourself if you let that happen, right? So when you wake up, how are you feeling? I look at myself in the mirror every day and I'm like, I'm a mogul. I'm not there yet. I'm not a millionaire yet, and this and that. But in my mind, visually, I'm a mogul. I own my own company. I'm saving lives. I quit a good job. I started a staffing company that had to be absolved due to COVID. I did all that on my own. You're doing good. You're doing great things. Like you're 2 steps away from literally something major happening. You're just 2 steps away. You just got to keep walking, and it's just constant personal reassurance. I appreciate love from everybody else. I really do. But at the end of the day, if that's something that drives you, reassurance from other people, you're going to run out of fuel because you have far more haters that want you to fail than the ones that actually want you to succeed. Yeah. So I love the hate, to be quite honest. Bring it on. Like, yeah, cool. You're going to fail. That's great. Yay. Doesn't bother me, because when I do succeed, in my opinion, I have succeeded. I really have. Right? Like if you go from where I was in life years and years and years ago to now being a business owner. Being a business owner, just in general, you've made it. Like now the real work begins. Now, are you a successful business owner? Yeah, there you go. That's debatable. But just basically saying, hey, you've made it this far. You've literally paid your dues, busted your ass, sold everything you're on for a vision that you are choosing to stay true to. You've made it. I don't need anyone else's approval. That's just the way I feel.
Awesome. I just kind of had one more question before we close up here. You had mentioned at the beginning how the quality is more important than quantity when it comes to sleep. And I can help but think, is that true too? You know, when you're awake, when you're working on your business, it doesn't necessarily matter as much the quantity that you're working, but the quality of work that you're having and the focus that you're having when you're working on your business and trying to grow it?
Yeah. That's a good question. And growing your business, you need quantity. You do.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose sight of the quality. You don't want that quantity to be... I've been a part of businesses to where it's just like, we need more. Right. And so you hire the wrong people to get you more. You hire technologists that are just people to watch people sleep. They're not there to help them sleep better. They're watching. That's it. So again, it all goes back down to staying true to your vision and what you build this company on, right? Treating every patient like it's your last, because you never know. One bad review, it could be your last patient. So yeah, it's just building a great foundation, building the right people around you, but making sure you do anything and everything, even if you fail a patient. Honestly, if there's no therapy that's going to help this patient, but that patient knows that you gave everything you got to find them the right therapy and it just didn't work out. And they're just like, you know what? Thank you for everything you've done. None of this is just for me. I'll just deal with it, you know? But at least they can acknowledge the fact that this company literally did everything from Googling doctors that could help you, from looking up other things, from this, from that, following up with you every 2 weeks, just anything they could do to literally help you. We've done. And if I fail, because you can't help everybody, but if I fail and give it everything I got, I can live with that. I really can.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we've really enjoyed having you on today. Like I said, your passion is...
Love your passion.
Your passion,
Thank
your
you.
energy is awesome, and we've just been educated today on a lot of things. Obviously, we want to let you get back to the rest of your day and get working so you can continue to grow on this this dream and this vision. So as we're closing up here, we just have a quick game we're going to play with you.
Oh, boy.
So how it's going to work is we've got a list of 20 questions, and you've got a minute to answer as many of them as you can. So it's just going to be rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So we'll see how you do compared to other guests we've had on the show.
A minute, huh?
You competitive?
Very.
Okay, you can get us started in 3, 2, 1.
Your dream vacation?
Moscow.
First thing you'd buy if you won $1 million.
Damn. A mansion.
Your favorite hobby?
Sleeping.
If there was an Olympic competition for everyday activities, what activity would you have a good chance at winning a medal in?
Walking my son and walking my dog.
A song you've been jamming to lately?
Oh, Lord. How You Like Me Now.
If you lived to be 100, would you rather have the mind or the body of your prime self?
Mind.
Favorite holiday?
Thanksgiving.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Rocky Road.
Favorite fictional character?
Spider-Man.
Favorite smell?
Apple pie.
What's your nickname?
Machine.
Pet peeve?
People not doing what they say they're going to do.
Your favorite restaurant?
Papa Seafood.
If you could switch places with someone for a day, who would it be?
No one. I love who I am.
If you had to eat one food,
Oh.
all right.
Oh, man.
Well,
One
we'll let
food
you
for the
answer.
rest
We'll
of
let
your
you answer.
life, what would it be?
Bacon.
Love the answer.
Golly.
Like once again, we've just really enjoyed having you, just kind of hearing your story and really learning a lot. And I hope our listeners kind of really take advantage and learn as well from the things you've had to share. Why don't you let our audience know where they can find more about you and about, everything that you do and that you teach about?
Awesome. Yeah. Well, the most simplest way to find me is just go to taylormadesleep.com. We do upload new blogs, I believe, every month and a half that educate things of that nature. What we pretty much do is basically on our website, booking consultations and things of that nature is very simple. It's on the first page, so it's simple enough. You can go to Taylormade Sleep Services on my Facebook, Taylormade_sleep_services on my Instagram. But all else, man, you can always give me a call too. The number is 480-524-8418. Let us help you. I mean, again, if any message I wanted to get out there from this thing to people is there is a better way, right? And there are people out there to help you. You don't have to go the long way. If you want a cheeseburger, go get one, basically. So, we're always there. We're always willing to help. Just be evaluated and check your levels, because you never know. You could be that ticking time bomb waiting to go off, and a stroke or heart attack could always be in your future.
Love it. Okay, well, we really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day, and thanks again for coming on today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Just a few things before we go. First off, if you or someone you know is an entrepreneur in the East Valley, we'd love to have you on the show. Please get in touch with us by emailing us at localhustlerspodcast@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at localhustlerspodcast. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn for the latest news and updates. Also, if you enjoyed the show, please take a few seconds to rate and review and hit that subscribe button. It lets us know how we're doing and helps us grow so we can reach more locals, entrepreneurs, and help small businesses grow. Thanks, guys.